it up. I know the way, no, I won't stop. I know this game, I won't give up. It takes some time to reach the top.
Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Today I want to talk about Dehancer, which is the great film simulation plugin I'm currently testing for DaVinci Resolve. But before getting started, if you don't know me and you're new in this channel, my name is Paolo and I'm an Italian filmmaker based in Dublin. So if you are interested about this world, be sure to subscribe in this channel and follow me on Instagram in the link below. I also want to say that this is not a sponsored video. Dehancer did reach me out asking me to talk about this, but they don't have any control or any approval on what I'm gonna say. I want to say that this will be my honest review based as always on my experience. And also be sure to remain until the end of this video because I will give you a nice discount on this plugin. Dehancer is probably the best and easiest way to create the film effect in every video, whether it's shot on a professional camera or just on iPhone in just a couple of clicks. In fact, you can simulate every aspect of the film, starting from the elevation, grain, and even the film damage, which is really cool and gives to your projects something particular that a lot of people look for, which isn't only the grain effect, but also those artifacts and color changes that you have in a real film. And of course I'm using Dehancer to color grade in this video too. But one feature I really love about Dehancer is that you can use it with every clips, whether they are in log or S-Cinetone or just Rec 709. In my case though, I will keep them in log just to have way more informations. But now let's move on to DaVinci Resolve. Here we are on DaVinci Resolve. Before using Dehancer, you need to set your project settings like this. Color Science, DaVinci YRGB. Time color space, DaVinci White Gamut Intermediate, output color space, Rec 709A if you're working on a Mac, otherwise just Rec 709. So the very first thing to do is going on your node, Effect, and scroll down until you see Dehancer Pro. In my case, I have the Pro version, so I won't have any watermarks or things like that. You drag it. As you see here, you have all these settings. We're gonna go through all of them in this video. So the very first thing you see here is source, which is by default on Rec 709, and you have all these formats. In this case, we're gonna choose the camera. So you're gonna have all the brands here. In my case, it's Sony 7.4 and in S-Log 3 S-Gamut 3 Cine. Now, as you can see, you already transformed the clip into like a mold filming kind of effect. But now we're gonna adjust all the settings here. For example, the exposure. So we're gonna underexpose a little bit. I see a little more contrast. We're gonna work on this right now. Temperature, in case you wanna have a colder or a warmer look. In my case, I really like having like a warmer look. And tint compensation is basically the green and purple, as you can see here. Now, I don't really want to touch it. Then film is basically the filming look you wanna choose for your video. For example, you can see CineStill 800T, Fujicolor, which is really cool. It matches perfectly with this clip here. And there's also my favorite one, which is Color Vision 3 250D. And you can push and pull the level of this filter here. I wanna push it a little more, and wow, it looks really nice. And you can also enable or not. So if you scroll down, we see Film Developer. The first thing you wanna do always is to enable it, so you can see the changes you're gonna do, which is basically the contrast boost. And I will slightly push just a little bit. Then the gamma correction, the color separation, the color boost, which add more saturation over all the clip. I will slightly push it a little more. Then we have the film compression, which is basically works on the highlights, total range, so the overall exposure, I'd say. Then we have expand, which basically works on black point and white point. So it basically control the black here and the white here. Then we have the print section here, which took me a while actually to figure out what was this. It's essentially where the film will be printed. So you have this, for example, which is basically the real film that your clip is supposed to be printed. For example, Kodak 2383 is probably the most famous one, and as far as I know, it's been used even for Joker. I usually don't use it, but I think it's really cool, so I will definitely use it. And target wide, I will go a little pull. Then we have the exposure. Wow, This is really cool. Wanna pull down a little bit the contrast here. Then we have color head here, which I really don't use it more so often, to be honest. So we're gonna go to the real fun of this video, which is the grain, elation, and bloom. Now, the grain is basically the classic grain effect. The lowest the number is, and the more powerful the effect will be. So for example, 8 millimeter is basically the grain is really, really, really powerful. I don't really like to use too much grain, so I would stick with 35 mil ISO 250. ISO is basically the size of the grain itself. So you can see there's grain, but it's not too much. Then we have the elation, which basically adds those red lines on the borders really close to the highlights. So in this case, I really like the elation effect, so I will stick with 16 millimeters, and it's enabled. Yeah, so as you can see, yeah, as you can see here, the elation is actually strong, but I really like it. And if you click here on mask mode, you can actually see where you're working on. If you click here, the effect will be, yeah, exactly, way more powerful. Which I don't really mind, but I will stick with this. Then we have the bloom effect, which is probably my favorite one, to be honest, or my second favorite one. We're gonna see my favorite one very soon, which basically has this glow effect in all the video. And again, if you click on 8 millimeters, the effect will be really strong. And yeah, 65, 70 will be less strong. 16 millimeters. Then we have the film damage, which is basically my favorite effects of this plugin, which recreates all those damage and all those artifacts you see in a real film. So for example, we're gonna go with 8 millimeters so you can see the real thing here. So you see all these artifacts here, all these effects here you see in this video here, for example, which is really, really strong, for example, here. And we're gonna go maybe with 35 mil. It's really, really better. Then we have the film breath, which is basically those saturation changes you see in a real filming. For example, 8 millimeters, and you see how the saturations here changes. It's really, really nice. Then we have the gate wave, which is basically a little like shaking around all the video. Like, I'm not really a fan of this one, so I will just skip it. Then we're gonna do probably one of the most mainstream effort here, which is the vignette here. So it adds a little vignette. You pull down the feather, you're gonna see where you're working on. Here, it's way more. Here, oh, that's really nice. That's really nice. It works perfectly with this bloom effect we made. Then you also have the false colors, so you see everything, which is really, really cool, to be honest. And also you have the clipping indication, so you see if you're clipping somewhere. Thank God we're not. Nice job. And then here on output, you're gonna see the total impact, which is basically how strong everything you've done until now will be on your original clip. And you can also generate a LUT, which is really cool, especially because you could export this LUT and install it on your monitor and have it ready whenever you're gonna film. And yeah, this is the final look on my clip here. It's really, really nice. I really love it, to be honest. Now, my final considerations. Now, final conclusion. Dehancer is probably the most realistic plugin that you can ever find. I will definitely use it even for some creative working projects. But then, how much does Dehancer cost? There are two versions available. The one I just used is the Pro version, which starts from $149 for 3 months, and you have everything I used in this video, and 2 activations for 2 different computers. The second version has less feature than the Pro version and starts from $79 and always for 3 months. And if you want a little discount, use my code Paolo10 and you get a 10% discount on any package you choose on Dehancer. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If so, be sure to subscribe to this channel, leave me a comment and a thumbs up, which is really, really important for me. I really want to say thank you to Dehancer for this amazing opportunity, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Cheers.